Welcome to Cat Chat with Bryce Burge. I'm Pete Francis, and we've got a great show for you today. Mark Bossuah will join us in the studio. And Bryce, another Wildcat football game Saturday, another Wildcat victory.
You know, it was a 34-0 victory for Northern Michigan this week. It was our homecoming, so that makes it even more special.
We've got the highlights, so let's go to the video. NMU looking to improve to 3-1 on the season. Mark Bossuah would put the Cats on the board first with this 1-yard touchdown to give them an early 7-0 lead. After two Rockne Belmonte field goals to make it 13-0 at the half, Carter Kopak adds a touchdown of his own on the ground from 7 yards out to give the Cats a 20-0 lead. Still in the third quarter, Antonio Wallace continues to impress with a 48-yard run. That would set up a 1-yard Wallace touchdown to extend the Wildcat lead to 27. And you can't forget about the defense. Nathan Yelk comes up with a huge pick right here and a nice return. He just continues his stellar play this season. And then Mark Bossuah will drop the hammer on the Bulldogs with a 20-yard touchdown run. NMU wins 34-0. And we caught up with Mark Bossuah and Nathan Yelk after the game.
Ferris, they're a team that we those of us that are seniors, we haven't beaten them since we've been to school here. And like I told somebody else earlier, one thing I kept in my mind playing Ferris State on homecoming is, in 2006, it kind of makes me sound old that I've been around that long, but 2006, Ferris came up for homecoming, they beat us something like 44-13, and that was, I believe, that's the most embarrassing homecoming loss game period that we've had since we've been here. So I definitely keep that in my mind. I definitely wanted to return the favor going out as a senior. My last homecoming here to, beat them pretty well.
I think we're starting to make some believers out of people, around this town and hopefully in the league as well. We know we can play. We believe it in our locker room, but it's just, not many people respect us. So it's our job week in and week out to go prove it to each team we play that, these guys up at Northern can play. And I think we proved it today.
Another shutout victory, Bryce. What impressed you the most?
For me, it would have to be the rushing attack that Northern Michigan has been having lately. We were able to have 18 first downs by the rushing attack, led by Bossuah and Wallace, and that really helps in the ball control battle that was so important that came in when the Bulldogs played Grand Valley State last week. Also, it's really good to see because that way Northern Michigan's able to get the big play with the rushing attack, which isn't very common, whether it's a pro game or the college game. But to have the big play means that you can put up multiple scores on the board like we did this game.
The offense and the defense have been just great, Bryce, but you got to be impressed with the special teams as well.
I'm actually impressed the most by the special teams after a game like this. Our return average was 18.2 yards per punt return. That was the highest out of any of the GLIAC games this week. And we're number one for returns in the conference. Also, what was big about having big returns like that is we actually forced the punter from Ferris State to make 2 tackles, which was a big deal because you don't see that very often either. If you also looked at the special teams, we had a solid kick return at the beginning of the game. It was the only one that we were able to get because we shut them out. And our punt coverage was suffocating.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the team has been on an absolute roll, Bryce. Is there anything that they need to work on, though?
Well, the big things that I've seen comes down straight to the passing game. We only recorded 36 yards of offense, and that's completely unacceptable when we're going into a team like Saginaw Valley that has such a physical secondary. Also, we have an offensive line right now that has great run blocking abilities, but their pass blocking was not very good when we had during this last week. We went 0 for 3 for any passing attempt that went longer than 10 yards, and a couple of the plays that were designed to go for the big shots downfield ended up in sacks. And going up against Saginaw Valley, you have to remedy that or you're not going to be able to win.
Well, this past Saturday at homecoming, we had the opportunity to talk with Dan Stencil and Stu Betts of the 1975 National Championship team. Here's Nick Mancosi.
Nick Mancosi coming at you from the Superior Dome here in Marquette, where the Northern Michigan Wildcats just won the homecoming game 34-0 against Ferris State. Now I have with me today All-American center Dan Stencil and running back Stu Betts from the 75 championship team. Dan, what a wonderful game this was today. Northern coming out, winning 34-0. What kind of statement do you think that sets for the rest of the season?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity. I liken it back to when we played in 1975, and we were coming off a 0-10 season, and it's all about momentum. If you got to believe in your team, you got to believe in your teammates, you got to believe in your coaching staff, and wonderful things can happen. And I would not be, cut short by the fact that this team has potential. They really showed that they are a great team, and they have a lot of opportunity to do some wonderful things.
Now, Stu, being a running back yourself, Wallace and Bossuah today really pounded the rock. What are your takes on that?
Well, he's a very quick back, and they have a really nice, they run that direction play where you can kind of pick and choose where you can cut back, and he had some really nice cutback runs, as you saw, down the field. And just to reiterate what Ponyard said, winning gets to be a habit, and you start winning, and the habit forms just like losing is a habit. And one of the things that we went through in '75 was the fact that winning became a habit, and that habit continued for many years after, and that was where the real tradition of the championship team kind of carried over into teams of the future.
Now, what comparisons do you see with this offense as opposed to the '75 championship team offense?
They like to pound it, and they really do like to pound it, and that's probably one of the most amazing things. The other thing is the defense. The defense is small, just like our defense was at the time, and they played with such quickness and tenacity. We didn't have a lot of big guys on that team. I was a running back, and I was one of the bigger guys on the offense, and our defense also didn't have a lot of big players. If you think about our nose tackle was Rich McGuire from Kingsford. He ran a 4.6 40. He was a wide receiver before he became a nose guard. So that's just an indication of how the quickness was brought to that defense and turned it into a capability that was enhanced by the coaches and their ability to find the weakness of the teams that we were playing.
Now, Dan, with new turf and being indoors, I believe in '75 you were outside.
Outside. Oh, yeah. Terra firma. Yeah. Yeah, actually, back in 1975, that was probably a record for the most home games ever by a Northern Michigan team, and we had 7 of them, which fed into all about what Stu was saying is once you win, you want to win. And I think these guys really have embraced that. Yeah, it was a shame that they lost their first game, but I think that probably made them even more hungry than what they were even capable of. And I think you got some opportunity here. You never know.
No, you never do know. And especially with Northern coming out with their record 3-1 now, I mean, that really states a really good statement for this year's squad. Thank you for being with us, Stu. Dan, wish the best to you.
And wish the best to you.
Thank you very much.
NMU. Let's go.
All right, back to you in the studio. Pete?
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll be joined by NMU running back Mark Bossuah. Stay with us. Can't get enough of Northern Michigan athletics? Well, you're in luck, because Cat Chat is Northern Michigan University's new television sports show, featuring highlights, recap, analysis, and interviews with all your favorite Wildcat players. Join us Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. on Marquette Channel 20, or follow us online at catchattv.org as we bring you the latest in Wildcat sports. Cat Chat, the UP's #1 sports show.